Good morning, and welcome to another exciting episode of Groovy Van Picker. It is New Year's Day morning, so I guess you can top it off with Happy New Year's. Yay. I post that on Facebook like every year at the same time. So I've got a lot of topics I'm planning on doing in the future. But, today, do a little bit of rambling about this and that just because I'm here and, hopefully you find it entertaining because that's what YouTube is for, is entertainment. So, right now, I got a little bit of time before I got to go in and do some work. You gotta be a classic TV fan to get that reference. And I am in a good mood because, I trained 2 people last night for this job. And they are going to be working on my days off. So that means that I will have days off again. So, we're talking like well over a month without a day off. Well, half of my way to the bank, but then off to the funny farm too. He's just going stir crazy over this, So, yeah, and they seem like they'll work out pretty well, I hope. At least let me get a couple of days off before they start flaking out on us. That's all I ask. And good coffee. Then I can probably get you some better content too. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to have a very fancy schmancy intro and background music and all that kind of good stuff. It's just going to be me and my little Android phone. Maybe a couple little things for entertainment or whatnot. I don't have a fancy schmancy camera. What I do have is my iPhone. That's what I've been using. And a little program to, when I cut and paste and splice and whatnot. I'm still learning how to work that. I do have a laptop computer, which I hardly ever use. Because even for eBay, this phone does very well. Take pictures, do the text to talk, tell you, this little piece I have right here will work fine, blah, 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 and post it. And for right now, with the level that I'm at, it works fine. And for years, my smartphone has been my predominant mode of getting on the internet. I don't use a whole lot of data. In fact, my conversation with you right now is going to be uploaded via a Wi-Fi signal when I find one, because some of these can take, a couple of gigs. And so, and the cell phone carrier that I'm with, I made it a point years ago, I don't want to sign any contracts or have my name on anything like a phone bill or none of that. I pretty much try to live under the radar and off the grid. I do not pay a power bill. I have 2 generators that I haven't used in months. I have a solar panel, which so far has been kind of a mild winter, so my batteries have been, juiced up pretty good. And water, I go down, I got a few 5-gallon jugs that I take down to Wally World or something and fill them up. It's like 35 cents a gallon. And yes, that also works for showers, because the purpose of a shower is to get clean, not to just stand there under the hot water. Duh. So if you learn how to take showers using a couple gallons and one of those weed sprayer bottles, okay, that can you pump up, and now make sure that if you get one of those, buy a brand new one. Don't go to Goodwill and find one of the troughs and try to make a shower out of that, because you have no idea what the previous owners would have been spraying out of that. It could have been battery acid, and next thing you know, you wind up in the hospital. Let's try to keep that to a minimum, people, especially for myself. So, yeah. So, I pretty much live a simple lifestyle. And yes, I have a TV set, a couple of them, each of my vehicles, include my motorhome, that runs directly off of a 12-volt battery. Even though I have 110-volt power inverters, I haven't used them in a while. Still kind of wondering why I have them, but one of them was given to me, the other one was like $40. And so they're good for if I ever decide to give myself a trim. I got these little doggy clippers, and they work fine. And my phone, it is one of those, you buy a card every month at one of the big old box stores, and you put it on your phone. You get like 25 gigs a month, which is more than enough, as long as I talk to you guys on Wi-Fi. And it's perfect for my Facebook and eBay and Craigslist and all that kind of groovy stuff. And even sometimes, seeing what my other YouTube brothers have to say and sisters have to say, as long as it's a short video. If I'm watching longer videos, I'll find a Wi-Fi. So, that will be a topic that I will touch on eventually as well, is how to live thriftfully, okay? And that is one of the things that you will have to learn how to do if you want to do any sort of a van swap meet life at all, and live thriftfully. For one thing, I strongly recommend being out of debt. You might have debt, your college debt, or this, or, whatever. But try to not get into that. That is also why my vehicles are paid for in cash. And yes, when I bought these vans, I looked them over. In fact, I didn't even start them. For the price that I got them for, worst case scenario, go down to Pick and Pull and buy a motor. Now, this van I did have to do a valve job eventually, but who can't do a valve job? So, I paid cash for these vans. I didn't. That's the thing is, I do not want to get into any kind of a car payment. Yeah, those big old high top Sprinter vans and whatnot, they're all groovy and all, they're nice. But they cost as much as a house. So, and they can fall apart just as easily as my 50-year-old van can. Okay? They just can. The difference is, I can fix this 50-year-old van. Valve goes out, I can fix it. Engine goes out, I can find another 302, drop it on in. Yes, I do have a cherry picker. Eventually I want to put a crate motor in this thing and probably a overdrive transmission, but that's a job for a different day. And there's a lot of things that you can do to be more thrifty and save money. Now, I'm not talking about being an extreme cheapskate and reusing toilet paper. Ugh. No. I want a brand new roll every once in a while. Okay. Call me picky. And another thing, too, is like cooking in your van. That's doable. Even though a lot of times I've been working all these hours, half the time I don't feel like cooking, so I've just been going out to some little restaurant and munching for $10. But if you're going to be doing swap meets and eBay, swap meets and eBay, it's either a feast or famine. Some weeks you're eating beans, some weeks you're eating steaks. Okay? It depends on what you have and what your customers want that day. Because there are a lot of things out there. A lot of things that sell like this. Like Bell Magnum helmets. They sell fast. But what are your chances of going to the Google troughs every day and finding one? Yes, I have found a couple in the Google troughs. And like I said, one of them I sold for over $800. Yes, I was so happy I could almost crack a smile. But I also found another one in the Goodwill troughs. And then I found one at the regular Goodwill. All within a few weeks. And so those, like one of them was like 100 and something, one of them was 300, one was 800. So yeah, those sell. But what are your chances of going to the Google troughs every single day and finding a Bell Magnum helmet? Believe me, if I could, I'd be going there instead of hanging around work all the time. So people always ask the question of, what do I do if things aren't selling? Hang in there. Somebody might want it. See, it's not... At the end of the day, you have to have what somebody wants. Okay? At the swap meet, the same thing. I have to have what one of those people just has to have. And they have to have it in their budget, too. Like, there's a 500,000 things on eBay I'd love to have. But it has to be in my budget. And it has to be available at the time that I buy it. And in my budget. So, there you go with living thriftfully. Which ties us to not getting into debt. Okay? You don't want to have a big old fancy schmancy Sprinter van, all decked out with all the trimmings, you got the full shower in the bathroom and the this and the that, and I've seen them all on YouTube. They're really, really nice. But the last thing you really want is to not be able to make that payment. And had the nice fellows from Operation Repo coming down and taking your house. Because, unless you're getting a guaranteed check from the government, if you're like me and you got to bust your chops to get your money, you have to work either a traditional job like I'm working now, or hustle, selling on eBay and the swap meets. Okay. You're going to have to be on a budget. And at the end of the day, yeah, you probably could get a traditional job. Maybe, but who knows? But, I do not want to be in a situation where I am scared to lose my house. I don't want to be in a situation where some guy can come over and hook up to my van and haul it away with all my possessions in it, and I'd have no way to get it back. So that is why I have my vehicles paid in full. And even if you have a vehicle, one of those fancy smancy ones, that you're paying $50,000 for, I would still recommend having a backup, just because if, God forbid, something does happen to your money, then they're not going to come down and take it from you. And then you have nothing. And if you're selling on eBay and the swap meet, that's a double whammy right there. Because number one, you're homeless. Number two, you have no way to get all of your nifty stuff from your secret hideout to the swap meet and to the public. You have no way of hauling your nifty goods from your secret hideout to the post office to ship them out. So you're dead in the water. So that is another reason why I strongly suggest having a backup vehicle, if possible. And having them paid for in full, if possible. Problem is, right now, van life is kind of a happening thing. So everybody's looking for a van. So I kind of got on the ground floor with the two vans I have there. Van life wasn't as popular. In fact, this van that I'm driving right now, the guy advertised Burning Man Special. Well, I couldn't turn it up. I couldn't pass it up. So that is where I'm at on debt. And that also includes having a contract phone. I won't have one of those. Because, again, what if something happens? Yeah, if without my phone, I can't be giving you guys, actually I came with Wi-Fi. I can kind of live without a phone, maybe, use people's Wi-Fi and whatnot to conduct business. But if you have Sprint or AT&T or whatnot, and you can't pay your phone bill, isn't the collection agency out to get you? Okay? With the company that I have right now, there's a few of them out there that offer the same thing. You know, you can't pay your bill, or you forget to pay your bill, whatever. No big deal. Get a couple extra bucks, get another phone. And so that would be my lesson du jour, is try to stay like under the radar. Now you're going to have things on your name. In my van, the pink slip is in my name. My insurance is in my name. I have to have, vehicle insurance because, driving without it is frowned upon in just about every state I ever lived in or visited. So, in fact, here in Nevada, if you don't have insurance, like if I decided one day I was going to stop paying my insurance and whatnot, my insurance company would call DMV, and DMV would cancel my tags. But that's a minimal thing. My insurance is less than $100 a month. So, I can scratch up $100 a month. But you don't want to keep tacking on more and more and more onto that. We got all these magazine subscriptions and this and that and cable and blah, blah, blah. You got to pay this, you got to pay. And rent. You know what rent costs around here? The place that I'm working right now. If I were to walk in there and say I want an apartment, they charge me well over $1,100 a month for a studio with bed bugs. Okay, yeah, this place is, So, that's one of the reasons why people get into van life, is because you don't have to pay $1,000 a month. With me, I just jump in what I already own, and I'm good. So yeah, take my advice. So if you want to get into van life and swap meet life, you want to live somewhat thriftfully. And I will touch more on this in future episodes. I'm just kind of rambling here, having a conversation. And because the first of the year, I figured I'd give you a little bit of a first of the year show. Nothing heavy. I didn't have time to go to the troughs this morning. I didn't have time to do much. I got up, ate breakfast, and came straight to work. And I got a few minutes. And so, hold for a second, got a nosy person coming by. Okay, the person's gone. I'm kind of parked on near where I work at, and every once in a while you got people that walk by, and they always want to know my business. So, anyway, what I want you to take home with you today is, if you want to get into the van and swap meet life, you want to be able to know how to live thriftfully and budget your money. So, if you can keep your monthly expenses to a minimum, then you can get away with selling a swap meets and eBay and even survive a slow month. And that is one of the things I will also touch upon later, is how to build up a little bit of a food supply, so that way when there is slow months, you can not starve to death. But that'll be a topic for a different day. It's already been close to 25 minutes, and you're probably, falling asleep by now. So, all right. Have a good one.